Welcome to BADM 5243 Business Analytics 2. In this session, we just kind of overview the course, talk about what we're going to be doing. We'll take a look at the syllabus and the essential components of that. And so the course is implemented through Blackboard, and this is my view into the course. There is a student view, of course, that we could take a look at, but I think this will work for the present purpose. And there are modules, of course, that are created within the course for you to work through. Not all of those appear yet. The main one at this moment is the Start Here Welcome and Course Overview module. And you'll just kind of want to work through that in turn. And so there is a Start Here section, which basically just contains the university's course description. So that's out of the university bulletin. Just simply says examines extraction and utilization of marketing and sales data to produce automated analytical reports by applying current database and reporting technologies. Okay, so the focus, though, there will be components of the course that will look at marketing, but there'll be managerial applications as well. So the course is, although it's entitled Business Analytics 2, it is, you might say, continues from Business Analytics 1, but the courses are largely speaking standalone, meaning that you do not have to have completed Business Analytics 1 prior to taking this course. The subject matter, the individual topics are largely standalone, except for the first topic where we kind of delve into, you might say, more that we can do with regression analysis, but we'll go back and cover or at least provide the background on just fundamental regression, multiple regression analysis that's covered in Chapter 7. So in our textbook, we'll be covering essentially the last half of the book. But once again, don't get too concerned about the fact if you're taking this course and you haven't had Business Analytics 1. Everything should be fine. There'll be a little bit of background we'll go through in Chapter 7, but largely speaking, we're going to be looking at individual applications in the realm of machine learning. And machine learning applications or algorithms are the building blocks of artificial intelligence. And so you might say in this course you will actually be learning some artificial intelligence. Okay, and so the topics, again, the algorithms that we'll study will tend to be largely speaking standalone, and so you'll be able to pick up very quickly here with our initial topic on extended applications in regression analysis, and then move on to, we'll talk about logistic regression as a new topic, completely new topic, and then we'll look at some other like say machine learning algorithms that come up. They oftentimes have some funny sounding names like k-nearest neighbors and decision tree analysis, things of that sort. So, but once again, these will effectively be many of the building blocks that are utilized in AI applications. Okay, so let's go ahead, and after start here, we'll go to the welcome section there, and you'll see some information there about me. This picture I had taken actually, I guess, a couple of years ago when I was in Manhattan, right across from Grand Central Station. I was in the offices of Tutor.com and also Princeton Review. And I was actually doing work for Princeton Review here. I was recording a series of lectures for individuals interested in preparing for the Chartered Financial Analyst exam. Okay, so anyway, that's the setup and so forth. And so it was pretty intense week that I spent there. Like I say, recording all these lectures that they're still being utilized. So, anyway, instructor information. I am Dr. Jackson, and I am serving as the interim dean of the College of Professional Studies, and things in terms of the university's. Uh, you might say hiring and so forth are working through this semester, and this might become I might be the permanent dean, but we'll see what happens with all that. So anyway, I've got a little contact information in my office hours here. Phone numbers, my direct line to my office there. My email is tjackson@rsu.edu. Office location is the dean's office in the College of Professional Studies, which is the dean's office is in Harrington Hall. College of Professional Studies kind of encompasses Harrington Hall and the Health Sciences building that's adjacent to it. There's my office hours for this purpose of this course, but basically I'm here just about all the time. Certainly 40 hours a week, 8 to 5, with lunch hour thrown in there. Preferred method of contact is email, but you can feel free to come by and see me, or call me if that works for you. We can also do a Zoom session even if that becomes beneficial. So, but a lot of times you'll just have questions, short questions that you want to kind of toss my way, and email works well for that. Okay, so let's go back here. And there is a course overview section that contains information that's kind of been extracted from the syllabus. So I thought, well, maybe we'll just look at the syllabus itself, which is in the next section here. And it is in two parts. There is the primary portion that pertains to this course, and then there is a supplemental or an attachment that pertains to all RSU courses. So I didn't write the material in this second one. This is just basically part of its boilerplate policies, procedures, and so forth that are to be included in all of RSU syllabi. So it's being incorporated here by reference. So you can download the syllabus here. This might get tweaked a little bit as we go along through the first week anyway. But you can certainly download it here and get a PDF of it, and that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to open this up in the Drawboard application, which is a pretty neat application that runs on Windows systems. But it allows me to kind of mark it up, and you'll find I use Drawboard as I do recording sessions and that sort of thing, and so it's good for illustrative purposes. So at the top, of course, you have just some basic information, and of course, this is the spring 2025 semester. This is the second 8 weeks of the spring 2025 semester. I guess as said, there may be some things that I might want to edit. This is actually the College of Professional Studies. We used to be the School of Professional Studies, so I'll go in and make that change. But we've got the Department of Business, and so the MBA program operates under the Department of Business. This is Business Analytics 2, and the course number is BADM 5243. And this is section 201R. The 200 indicates that it is an 8-week section, and the R indicates that it is an online section. Okay, so I've already mentioned my name. I do have a number of professional credentials, PhD, where basically it's the culmination of 3 degrees in accounting, a bachelor's in accounting that I got from Northeastern State University many years ago. I did the Master of Accountancy at the University of Oklahoma shortly thereafter, and then just a little bit later did the PhD in accounting with a minor in finance and computer information systems and quantitative analysis at the University of Arkansas. And I'm a chartered financial analyst. That's the primary professional designation in the world of finance and investments. There's the CPA, Certified Public Accountant, Certified Management Accountant, Certified Financial Manager, which is another designation that was basically provided through the Institute of Management Accountants, and then there is the Certified Fraud Examiner. And after acquiring all those, I decided I had enough letters after my name. I think enough for this lifetime anyway. So again, I'm serving as interim dean of the College of Professional Studies, and so I do need to make some edit there on that. But anyway, again, contact information is there, and then again, the course description. We've already looked at that, so let's move on down to the course level objectives. Okay, basically these are overarching, overall things that we want to accomplish, or basically things that abilities that we want you to have as you complete this course. So we want you to be able to apply data analyses to internal and external data to assess market demand for products and services, to support optimal pricing scenarios, build constituent customer segmentations, support in-depth market analyses, and support the development of differential marketing strategies, construct special purpose automated analyses to assess and project the effectiveness of advertising campaigns, produce a variety of tabular and graphical reports that support marketing decision processes utilizing a current analysis and reporting technology. Okay, and so that's, like I say, we'll largely be accomplishing those things by becoming familiar with those machine learning algorithms that, again, are now the fundamental building blocks of artificial intelligence. Okay, so there will be a textbook, and we're going to use the same textbook that was used in Business Analytics 1. We're just covering the second half of the material. And so if you took Business Analytics 1 in the fall semester, I do have a code that will be provided to you. You'll need to email me for that purpose. But I can provide a code, and you'll need to essentially opt out of the inclusive access so that your account is not billed automatically. Your RSU Bursar account is not billed automatically. But the code that I can provide you, again, only to the students who purchase the material, access to the textbook in the fall 2024 semester, will I provide that code to, but and it has limited use. So I have the number of uses that McGraw-Hill has provided should exactly equal the number of students who fall into this category. Okay. So anyway, you do need access to the textbook, and the textbook, let's go back over here to Connect. It looks, you'll see the image here. So it looks so if you buy a hard copy, it'll be a blue book. Just says communicating, business analytics, communicating with numbers. And it's a really good textbook. I like it from the standpoint of the technology employed, the descriptions that they provide, the examples, and so forth. It's really well developed, I think, and will serve our purposes quite well. Now, there's far more material than you in the book than you can really adequately cover in a single 8-week session. And so that's why we're using it for 2 different courses. Just the first 7 chapters we're covering in Business Analytics 1, then the balance of the book, you might say, largely speaking, in Business Analytics 2. I think once you work through the entirety of the book, you can say that you've got a really thorough, up-to-date understanding of the topic of business analytics. And so being McGraw-Hill, they're really, I think, the top publisher out there of business textbooks, and the ancillary materials and so forth are always first rate. So their books tend to be a little more expensive, but you get what you pay for. And I think when it comes to education, I don't like to work with second-rate stuff. And so I think we're working with top-of-the-line material here. You'll want to get access to that with the Connect access. And so, as I mentioned, the course is in inclusive access. So if you, this is the first time that you'll be using this book, you'll need to purchase it, and you can do so by accessing the first assignment in Blackboard, and that will automatically trigger the charging, you might say, of your account with the Bursar, unless you choose to opt out. Once again, those who are going to use the code from that I provide for those students who took the course in the fall semester, took Business Analytics 1 in the fall semester, will want to follow the opt-out procedure that the bookstore will provide. Okay, so that let's get back to our syllabus then. Okay, so that's the textbook that you'll want, and then you'll need a personal computer running Windows 11. You might be able to make it with a Mac, but I'm going to say really plan on, if at all possible, get access to a personal computer running Windows, and we're going to be working with Excel. There's an Excel add-in called Analytics Solver that our textbook utilizes, particularly in these later chapters. We didn't really use it in Business Analytics 1 because it didn't really come up that much in the first several chapters of the book. But as we get into these machine learning algorithms, we'll look at a couple of different platforms, you might say, for implementing those. And one is this Analytics Solver. And it, as I recall, I think the student fee for that's $25, so it's fairly nominal. But I provided some instructions. We'll take a look at that, or for downloading and installing it. It is an Excel add-in, so it runs within Excel. When you open it up, after you install it, there'll be a new tab in Excel that will say Analytics Solver. Okay, and so it's got a number of the applications built in, and so I can't say for certain that it will run in the Mac version of Excel. Okay, so that's why I say let's assume that you need a Windows-based computer, and let's go ahead and say Windows 11. Just make sure your operating system's up to date. Must have a computer with reliable internet access, access to Excel, of course, and other things here. I mentioned Power BI. We might work a little bit with Power BI, particularly as some of these other things tie in to Power BI. So I mentioned Analytics Solver. There's R and R Studio. R is a analytics language that is very prominent out there. It's open source, like Python is. I mentioned Python down here as well. All the exercises in our textbook could be solved or developed using R and R Studio or Python with, say, Visual Studio Code. The textbook, though, is really based on R and R Studio. R is the analytics language. R Studio is an interface that utilizes that language. And both R and Python are you might say collectively, the platforms for implementation of artificial intelligence. Okay, and so delving into R or Python opens the door for you to study artificial intelligence more. Okay. So we'll come back to the materials here shortly. Let's go ahead and step on down here to the grading policies. There are 600 points available for the semester. Run a strict 90, 80, 70, 60 scale on those points. So you say you need 540 points to get an A. That's 90% of the 600. 480 you get a B, and so forth. I anticipate, my expectation is everyone would finish with an A or a B in the course. I guess the other things are possibilities, but I don't recall ever really giving a C in one of our advanced analytics courses. And so usually students who take this course would be very serious. They do their homework, they read the chapters and give the exams. solid effort, that sort of thing. And when you do those things, then I think it's just right that you come out with a B or better. So um, anyway, assessment techniques, again, just to kind of keep this fairly short here. There'll be two 100-point examinations. There'll be a midterm and a final. They're non-cumulative, so the final is not comprehensive. It just covers material from midterm forward. They're administered through McGraw-Hill Connect. They'll use the basic proctoring service that's available there, where your screen is recorded and your webcam is recorded. So anyway, you need to have a functioning webcam for purposes of the exam. So there's 200 points allocated to examinations, and then the homework, there'll be 400 points allocated there. There'll be a combination of different types of assignments there. Generally, I'll have assigned the Learn Smart or the Smart Book assignments, where you get some credit for reading the chapters. But then there'll be homework problems, and you'll find that I will demonstrate the solving of some problems that are fairly similar to, they won't be identical to, but they'll be similar to what you'll be doing in the homework assignment. So there'll be guidance that I'll be providing through recorded lectures, that sort of thing. So anyway, there'll be various types of assignments and so forth, but you will be utilizing Excel and R Studio quite a bit in terms of developing your solutions to the homework problems. Okay, so technical difficulties I just mentioned. Basically, you're responsible for the reliability of your computer, your internet connection, and so forth. So if when it comes to taking an exam, for example, you want to make sure that you're operating where you've got a solid internet connection. It's not likely to go out on you, that sort of thing. And so you always have the option of coming to campus and utilizing the Wi-Fi here or one of the computer labs if you think your home internet is not particularly reliable. Okay. Late assignment makeup policy. Basically, I typically allow you to turn in assignments a day late for up to 50% possible credit. Let's see what else. Artificial intelligence. One of those things that's kind of new to our courses now is a disclosure about artificial intelligence and what level is permitted. I say here you're only allowed to use it with prior permission. And the reason is that we want to know what the knowledge that you've acquired, and not what some AI platform is able to return to you as a result of searching it, so to speak. So we want to make sure that you actually acquire the knowledge as you complete this course. And so I know there are various courses, different courses, where they may allow you to use it to generate answers and that sort of thing. But this course, we'll say you only use it with prior permission. So that goes to say, basically, you're going to implement the software that we've talked about, Excel and Analytic Solver and R Studio, to arrive at solutions to the problems and not rely on a chat GPT or some other platform to give you an answer. Okay. Let's see here. Let's skip on down to course schedule and calendar. Okay. And so our primary focus will really be chapters 8 through 15, but you'll notice that chapter 8 is entitled More Topics in Regression Analysis. In the Business Analytics 1, in the fall semester, we got through chapter 7. And I'd like to kind of start with just a bit of a review of that, so that we all are familiar with multiple regression and how we would implement that, say, in R Studio. And then we will then turn our focus to dealing with some special topics involving regression analysis. Okay, and then of course we'll have spring break after that first week. So again, as mentioned, if you haven't had Business Analytics 1, that's really kind of the purpose why we're covering and doing this step back to chapter 7 and taking a look at that, just to kind of bring us up to speed there so that we can actually study chapter 8. Okay, and then move forward from there. And after that, as you kind of get into this, these are really standalone topics, and you'll not find that we're really relying on anything of substance from Business Analytics 1. Okay, so once again, having completed Business Analytics 1 is not a requirement for for taking this course. Okay. So there's something here called logistic regression. Again, it's a machine learning algorithm. We'll get into analysis with time series data, and then this is supervised data mining. Some of these AI algorithms, k nearest neighbors, naive Bayes, decision tree, and so forth. And so I think you'll be pleased with the material that we cover this semester. You'll learn a lot and see how all these different things are actually doable, and how you'll kind of get an initial or an introduction to artificial intelligence through studying these various topics. Okay, communication policy. Basically, you may email me, but you should email me from your RSU account, not a Gmail account or Yahoo account or anything else. Use your RSU email account, because otherwise your email might get filtered and I might not ever see it. So always include in the subject line BADM 5243 so that I can channel the email to a special folder where I can recognize it more readily. And if you do post a message to me in Blackboard, make sure that you check the box to email me with a message so that I will not overlook that. Okay. And my objective is to respond within 24 hours, except on weekends and holidays, that sort of thing. I don't generally monitor email very closely on the weekends. So it might collect over the weekend, and first thing Monday morning I come in and I address the email that's come in over the weekend. So university policy statements. Recall there was that addendum or extra file, that syllabus attachment, and that's where you find the university policy statements. Perhaps the most important of those is the Americans with Disabilities Act statement that pertains to situations if a student has a disability and perhaps needs an accommodation. I'm always willing to work with you on that sort of thing, but there is an appropriate channel that you have to go through, process that you go through to receive an accommodation. And so if it applies, make sure that you follow through with that. Okay, so let's kind of go back just briefly here to Blackboard, and I will, after the syllabus, we'll kind of come down here to course materials. And again, there's the textbook. We've already kind of talked about that. And now one of the, again, analytics platforms that we're going to use is the language R that is most often accessed or utilized through the interface called RStudio. You can go out there, you can click on the link that I've provided, and you can go out there and find where you can download both R and RStudio. You want to do those in that order. You want to download and install R, and then you want to download and install RStudio Desktop for Windows. There is I believe down here you'll find maybe a Mac version, but again, I'm assuming everyone's using Windows here. So right up here at the top is where you need download and install R, and then RStudio for RStudio Desktop for Windows. And although you can access R directly, you want to do everything through RStudio. There's a little splash screen that comes up after you've installed it and so forth. This is it, and it might look a little bit daunting to begin with, but you'll find out. And I'll start from the beginning and show you how you effectively work with this interface. Okay, and the current version of R is 4.4.3. They may well come out with a new version before the term is over. It seems like every couple of months they come out with a new version. In addition to giving them kind of a numeric name here or a designator 4.4.3, each version is given a title here. And the names tend to be a little bit peculiar until you read what they pertain to or find out what they pertain to. For example, I remember a few years ago when I was several years ago when I started working with RStudio. I think the first version that I downloaded and installed was called Bird Hippie. Okay, Bird Hippie. I said, what in the world is that all about? And then got to exploring, and it turns out that all the names that they apply to these different versions of R pertain to the comic strip Peanuts. Okay, you know, Charlie Brown and so forth. And I guess Bird Hippie referred to something in an episode of Charlie Brown or Woodstock, I guess, appeared kind of hippie like, and so anyway, and uh, I'm not sure in the context of Peanuts to what trophy case actually specifically refers. I wouldn't doubt but what there's a version out there called Great Pumpkin, though, and everybody would kind of know what that's all about and so forth. But if you happen to identify what they are referring to there in the context of the Peanut strip with this named trophy case, send me an email. Let the class know. Okay, a little interesting thing here. So anyway, but once again, your objective at this point is just to get the program up and going. Okay, and I'll talk about how you use it, and I will be demonstrating a number of solutions, development of solutions to problems from our textbook utilizing R and RStudio. In the past, I've utilized Python as well. That tends to be a little bit ambitious for um, the courses to cover both R and Python. We'll see how things play out. If I have time to develop some of our solutions in addition to R, if I have time, I'll develop those in Python. So if you want to learn another analytics platform as we move through, it'd be purely optional. You could do so. But acquisition of R and learning R, given that that's what our textbook uses, that will be the mandatory platform for this particular course. Okay, so moving right along, getting back here, there is a PDF here that pertains to Analytics Solver. Okay, so it's got the installation instructions and so forth. Here's the key material you'll need here. You have the course code right there and the book code when you acquire access to Analytics Solver. Okay, and once again, it's an Excel add-in, and so it runs within Excel, and it's proprietary software, but like a lot of software companies do, Microsoft included, they like to provide students access to their software because they realize if you utilize it in a course, you're likely to utilize it out there in the so-called real world, and that promotes their sales. Okay, so student access to Analytics Solver is just $25. A lot of times in our textbook, you'll see we'll look at solutions through Analytics Solver and also R. Okay, so it's possible you could do everything through R. If you didn't want to buy Analytics Solver, I'll say that this is optional. Okay, if you don't want to spend the $25, you don't have to, and you basically do everything through R and RStudio. All right. Well, see what else we have. This more policy statements. That's the same thing that appears in that supplemental document that's up there in the syllabus section, largely speaking. So again, there'll be modules that will appear as we move along. We'll have about 8 modules in the course, corresponding with the number of weeks for the semester. Back there in the course schedule, go back here to course overview. It's in the syllabus, but down here in the course schedule, again, you'll see the dates of the midterm and the final examinations. Those are typically 2-day windows that I have for the midterm and final. That doesn't mean you have 2 days to complete the midterm and the final. It basically means that there's a window there that you have to log in to McGraw-Hill Connect and take the examination, which will be timed, usually about 120 minutes. Sometimes I extend 150. Depends on my assessment of the difficulty level of the exam and so forth, and what might be involved in terms of time. Might give up to 3 hours on the exam. Okay, but anyway, you'll want to find a convenient time, free of distractions, that sort of thing, when your internet's working well, that sort of thing, and take the exam during those 2-day windows. Okay. All right, well, I'm always available and ready to answer your questions, that sort of thing. So feel free to reach out to me, and we will embark on a review. We'll say a review of Chapter 7, but don't worry, once again, if you haven't had Business Analytics 1, we're going to get you up to speed fairly quickly and then move right into Chapter 8. And so I look forward to seeing you in our upcoming sessions.